Hi, everyone. Welcome to another session of Rooted in Greatness, a faith-based program focused on supporting athletes' mental well-being and helping them grow in emotional strength, leadership, and identity alongside their performance. I'll be your host today. My name is Noor Giblewi. I'm an international student athlete and a tennis player and a senior currently in college. I'm really excited to introduce today's guest, Malia Bracone, who I met back in North Carolina A&T and who now plays professional basketball. She's a golfer, guys, and she's currently playing overseas in Australia. Malia, how are you? And if you can tell everyone a little bit about yourself.
Hey, I'm doing good. Yeah, my name is Malia Bracone. I finished my college career at North Carolina A&T, and currently I am in Mildura, Australia, pursuing my professional career. This is my first year out here, I'm pretty excited to be on this podcast and stuff.
We're happy to have you. We're very excited to have you all the way 15 hours ahead. She's living in the future, guys. What happens before we even... Malia, I just want you to share a little bit about how you started playing basketball. When did the journey all started, and when did you decide to fully pursue it?
Yeah, so I started playing basketball as a young girl. My dad formed like a team, and he kind of coached me into playing, and I started off with like a little league team, and then I guess like he realized that I was kind of more advanced than some of the other kids growing up, and so he told me to just stick with it. And so I've been playing since then, and I've played in like exposure tournaments to kind of like get noticed because my parents believed that I could play college, and so they put me in those tournaments and playing in front of coaches. And I started off my college career at Presbyterian College. I played there for 2 years, and then I went to the transfer portal, and then I ended up at North Carolina A&T, and I spent my last 3 years there. I had a COVID/grad year. And I excelled in that level playing for North Carolina A&T, and I was able to get an agent, and I had the opportunity to come out here in Australia. So I've
That's
been
awesome.
playing for a long time, it feels like.
Awesome. So in your family, were you the only one like actually pursuing basketball in college and professional, or like you have your sister? I know you have an older sister, but yeah, like did anyone in your family also play basketball?
Yeah, so my sister, she stopped in high school. She kind of just wanted to go to school regularly as a regular student. And my parents, they played mainly in high school. But I'm kind of the first in both sides of my family that's played in the collegiate levels. I kind of had a little pressure, just kind of like being the first to do it. But my family was just very supportive of me, and they came to a lot of my games and stuff like that. So,
Yeah, I remember
yeah.
every watch you in North Carolina A&T. I remember seeing your family, so I can like definitely say that you like, at least from my side, from what I've seen, you definitely have a very supportive family, and I think it's cool because you kind of like, yes, you feel the pressure, but from an outsider, I'm like, oh, Malia's the star of A&T, but also the star of her family, you know. So it was actually awesome to see like every time there's a support and everything. So yeah, but tell us a little bit about the experience at A&T, right? Like how you grew there. I know you guys had a very good chemistry as a team, but also as the coach, the school spirit. I still remember, and I remember talking to Jordan about this. Like I still remember when you guys were playing the tournament, and okay, I'm not very good at basketball, but all I remember the time done, and then there's Malia shooting a three, and it goes in, and everybody just and like I know, looking back in 10 experience at A&T, it's always gonna be I'm always gonna be remember that moment, right? So if I feel excited, I just want to hear your story about A&T, that moment, everything.
Yeah, so when I first went on my visit, the first school that I went to, it was kind of like a small school. Everybody kind of like knew each other, and it was kind of like in the middle of nowhere. There really wasn't much to do and like for opportunities outside of basketball and like in the campus, in my opinion. And so when I went to A&T and I took a visit, like just the whole atmosphere, it just felt like a family environment. Like it's crazy how much the alumni like pours into North Carolina A&T, like, and
Mm-hmm.
that's kind of what like drew me in. And so first my teammate, my college teammate at Presbyterian, Nia Willis, she committed there first. So like whenever I committed, it was like, oh my gosh, like best friends and teammates went from one school to another. And we had a big like recruiting class. And so when we came in, I don't know, like we just had that chemistry. Like we got to know the girls and they got to like know us, and we created like a really strong bond. And still to this day, like we're texting each other, like and supporting each other. And so we had that off the court, and it definitely it brought it out in the court too. So yeah, that moment when at the tournament and I made the buzzer beater three and everybody went crazy. I just didn't know what to do because I never had a moment like that. And so like I just took off running and I was just screaming and like my teammates were like chasing me
Yeah.
and just like everybody, like the stands, everybody were on their feet, like trying to run on the court too. Yeah, it was definitely a moment that I would probably never forget. And even like when I come back, like on campus, I came back to campus before I left. It was like an alumni game. The alumni, they came up to me, oh my gosh, Malia, I still remember the game. Your shot, or your shot still going, like stuff like that. And so it's just like that type of family environment that like I think growed and like learned loved so much about A&T because like it was just a family type of thing. And
Mm.
um yeah, so I think that moment really solidified like yeah, like this was probably the best decision I ever made to like pursue my college career just because of like that moment.
Yes, that's awesome. And I loved hearing, your perspective on that. Because again, I was just in the stands. I was as excited as everyone. I tried to laugh at everyone, and I was like, oh my God, this is like what you see in the movies, This is what you watch on TV. And now I'm like here, like live in the moment. And I was like, oh my God, like all see that, I'm like, I wish I was a basketball player, a guard during that moment. I just wish I was a person, right? Because it's just like, because I always feel like the guards are kind of like heroes at some point of their career, and it's just awesome to see. And yeah, like seriously, thank you for sharing. Because like I was always thinking like, what do you feel in this moment? How did she was like, okay, I'm just gonna take the ball and put it like it's insane. As I said, like
Yeah,
it.
like I remember like my heart was like racing, like in that moment I was like, oh my gosh, like I have to make it, I have to make it, please go in.
So, like,
Like
what is it called? The timeout. So, was that like so the coach said that's the play? He called the play and you just had you,
yeah.
oh my God, that's a lot of pressure. So, how did you deal with that pressure at that moment of like, oh my God, like,
Well,
yes, he,
it was It was more of like an option, like that play, there was either two options. Two players were gonna have to make a shot. So it was between me and Demaya Tucker. Like the play basically, like she basically made the play. Either she
yeah.
could have taken the shot or like pass it out to me. So, in my opinion, like I was just like, okay, like Demaya's got this, like we're gonna be
Yeah.
good. Like I don't need that type of pressure. And so when she passed it to me, I was like, oh my gosh, like you said, like in a movie, I was like, this is literally like a movie right now.
And like did you just think, oh my God, just make the shot? Or did you like, I mean, I know in basketball it goes by so fast. So in that moment, like seeing the ball coming, like what did you feel? Like how did you handle that pressure in that little second to make the shot?
Like I think like thinking back on it, like I think I was just trying to tell myself to like just breathe, like don't shake, like because if you're shaking, your hands are shaking, it's not gonna feel right. And so I don't
Wow.
know, and it felt like I like just grabbed it like a hot potato. I just grabbed it and shot it. Like when
Yeah,
I was watching videos back on
yeah,
it, it
yeah.
felt like a hot potato.
Uh-huh. It did, because yes, you're that's so true. Because I do remember just take it, took van and ran away. I'm like, oh my God, okay, like I guess, but no, that's awesome. Thank you for sharing that, because as you said, a historical moment for everyone who was there and who was part of that, not just playing on court, but also just in the stands watching. That was really awesome.
Yeah.
But just also talking now, playing professional basketball in Australia, I'm sure like the level is different, the atmosphere, the environment, everything is different, the culture. I don't want to say the language, but definitely the action is different. Like everything is different. Um, now you're in a new country, a new continent. How was the transition going? I know you just left a few months ago, right? You just got to Australia, what, like
Yeah, I
this year?
left last month.
Yeah, wow, last month. So you're
Mhm.
still in transition. So if you could share a little bit about how's Australia been treating you and how's basketball there?
Yeah, really, like, the most nervous, like, thing that really, like, I guess, that I had was just, like, the flight. That was a
Mm,
major, like, transition for me. It was, around 17 hours, and I've never been on a plane that long, and so that transition, like, having to land and, like, kinda
uh-huh.
get my feet adjusted, cause being on the plane that long, like, your body, like, I guess, kind of,
Yeah.
like, you have to get adjusted to it, being able to play, and, thankfully, like, my coaches, they understood. They, gave me some time to, kinda get my feet adjusted and stuff like that, and, like, my teammates, they're really helpful, really, like, passionate and just wanting to get to know me and stuff like that, and talk about their culture and things just with questions that I have, and I've been adjusting pretty fine. The first few weeks, I was a little homesick, but like, my parents and my family members were like, "We're supporting you, we're here for you if you need anything, like, you're gonna be fine." And so, I've just been kinda, like, exploring a lot of things out here, and, I think I've been adjusting pretty well, like, the culture and like, the coffee culture is one
Hmm.
of the, like, major things that I've noticed. There's, like, a bunch of coffee shops, like, on each block, and some of the slang, the terms, and the
Hmm.
terminology that they say, I've been trying to, like, take note of that and, like, trying to, like, learn it and, like, so I can be able to, like, help them understand what I'm trying to say if they don't know what I'm trying to say. But yeah, like, I've been adjusting pretty well, I would say. And we've had our games. We had 2 games last weekend, and right now we're on a bye week for the holidays.
Hmm.
And yeah, we did pretty good. We went to Melbourne and we lost the first game, but we won the second game. So right now we're 50-50. And so we've just been practicing and trying to figure out like what works best and adjust to like the teams that we're gonna play. And so um I think my time here, I really like it out here. So
Ooh,
I probably will miss it when I come back to America.
that's awesome. I'm really happy for you to say you really like it. And as you said, like it's only been a month or a few more weeks. Yeah, from what you've shared, I can tell you're adjusting well, because I can tell you from my experience when I came to US, my freshman year, it took me like 2 to 3 months to actually be like, okay, Nor, you're here now, just enjoy it. But I remember the first 2 months, I was like, okay, this is not
Yeah.
my culture, like I'm not comfortable. Like I'm scared. Like what do I do? But as I said, it's very important that your family supports you. That's really important. But also I think the biggest
Mhm.
adjustment, like to help you right with everything, is the people there, the environment, and also how open you are to learn about the culture, to go outside and see and learn and try new food, try coffee, whatever you want to try, and I think that's the right mentality to go about it, because it can be tough, like adjusting to a whole new culture away from home, like can be tough. But yeah, I'm really happy to hear that you like it, and we wish you all the best. But talking a
Thank you.
little about right, your journey with basketball, Inti, that amazing shot you made, winning conference, now playing professional overseas. You see, like all of that, and I still know you as a student athlete, first of all, like at the same college, and I always thought you're
Mhm.
kind of like introvert, like like you're calm, like very calm, very steady, and then you go do your job, get out again, stay calm. Like I just love to see your character. And if you could tell us a little bit about who are you when you're not performing, who are you off court? And yeah, if you could share a little bit about that.
Yeah, I do classify myself as a introvert for sure. And just kind of just take in the moment and just observe. I'm very observant, I would say. I get that from my mom. But like when I'm very like comfortable or when I get comfortable in a certain setting, can like get out of my shell a little bit. I think like just having that calmness and that like resiliency, it kind of like helps me and like my teammates on the court to kind of like if they're in a pressured situation and they kind of see like, okay, Malia's like calm, Malia's fine, Malia's like she's ready for the
Mm,
moment type of thing. It kind of relieves the pressure and the tension that I feel like my teammates would have.
mhm.
Even though like my heart could be racing, I still try to like keep that like calmness,
Yeah.
especially like from the shot, like my heart was beating, but I was like in the huddle, I was like, okay, like we got this, we can do this. Like I try to keep that like persona. Yeah, I think that's kind of how I would explain my personality on the
Mm,
court. Like I could be intense, but I kind of have like a calmer way of showing it. But there are some times where I can get, I guess, fiery and stuff. But most of the time, I would say I'm a little calm on the court.
yes, I agree with everything you said. But yeah, that's awesome how you said, how your calm doesn't only help you in this situation, but also helps your team and the people around you. And I definitely agree with everything you said there because it's true, especially as basketball, it's like a team sport. And if everyone is
Hmm.
nervous, like everybody is gonna be nervous, but if everyone show it, it's gonna make it tougher for everyone, right? But also talking a
Right.
little about the people off court, right? Even or your coaches or the people watching in the stands or your family or just fans. What pressure do those people do not see, and how do you deal with that pressure to be able to, kind of prepare yourself to be in the moment right now and control that pressure?
I think more of the pressure is kind of like kind of me like overthinking a little bit. I'm a little bit of an overthinker, just wanting to like be the best that I can be. And it can kind of like affect my game a little bit because I could be like trying to force something when I can just let it come to me. I kind of had struggles with that throughout my college career and still a little bit like to this day, but I think it's been better than what it used to be back like playing younger, like just wanting to be the best that I can be and stuff like that. I feel like a lot of people kind of have that, and there are different ways to like, I guess, mentally to like overcome it. It just takes time. I feel like knowing what you're capable of and being like humble about it helps a lot. Yeah, I think that's pretty much probably like the like mental battles that I've had really like had affected me though.
Yeah. I feel you on that, and I do believe, especially as basketball, it's kind of a famous sport, even in college, where a lot of students or a lot of
Hmm.
alumni, as you said, can come and watch you. With tennis is a little bit different here. I mean, internationally, everybody can watch tennis. They can just watch you in the stream, judge you, send you a meme message, and move on with their life. But
Yeah.
what I should be grateful for, especially my freshman year, uh, where tennis is not, is never going to be the famous sport of college, where random students are just going to show up and like, judge you, support you at the same time. But I definitely agree
Yeah.
because, when you're battling those moments of pressure, but you still like want to, show up for your team, show up for yourself, all the hours you put in, and I think a lot of people do not see like, the mental side of the game, which is I believe the biggest part of.
Mhm.
But talking again about the mental battles, right? That we don't share, we don't talk about, that no one actually knows about, only the close people. What's the hardest battle you had to overcome throughout your career? If it's college, if it's now, adjusting to a new culture, if it was in your junior career, what's been the hardest battle you had to overcome and that just nobody uploaded or not realized maybe that it was even there?
I think for me, it probably would have been my last season, like my last season playing at A&T. In the first game, we played at SMU, and I did something to my calf. It was like I was like backpedaling, and it
Mm.
kind of like snapped, like it felt
Oh.
like something snapped in my calf, and yeah, and I thought like I had to like I thought it felt like it would have been like my Achilles, but it was something in my calf, and it was like a ligament in my calf that was like partially torn.
Oh.
And it wasn't like a crazy injury like an ACL, but it was a type of injury that like you need. Like I didn't know like wow, like a lot of my movements do come from my calf.
Mm.
Like I wouldn't have expected that to really affect me in the beginning of this season. So I think I kind of battled with like an injury because I never had like an injury at all in my college career until my last season. And so I kind of like had mental battles with that and just like whenever I would come back, like, am I going to be the same?
Mm.
Am I going to do what I need to do for my team? And so, like, certain moments of the game or like practices, my calf would hurt. And like, I felt like I had those mental struggles where like I felt like my teammates didn't believe me or like my coaches didn't believe me or I didn't believe that my calf was like hurting or stuff like that. And also had like mental struggles of like, is it ever going to get better or am I going to have to deal with this like forever? Like, am I going to be able to play again? Like stuff like that. And so I never like realized like people who do have injuries, it could be something very minor or very
Mhm.
major like an ACL or like a career ending injury. And it's like the type of struggles and thoughts that you have could really like pull you away from a sport that you like have grown up to like love. But like whenever you do overcome it, you have to figure out ways to overcome that mental aspect. And then you can overcome that injury and like be able to continue to do the sport or anything, honestly. So I think that was probably like the biggest mental thing that I've dealt with.
Yeah.
And just like being able to maintain my strength as well. And just like knowing like I don't want to have anything happen like this again to me. So like what am I gonna do now to prevent that?
Mhm. That's awesome. So how long you like the recovery of this injury?
I think at first they said the doctor was like, "Oh, like give it like 2 to 4 weeks and see how it feels." And it was around that time and I was like, "Wow, like my calf is still hurting." Like that's when I kind of had that struggle of like, am I ever going to get better? Like it's still hurting when I do certain movements like and so it started in November and I didn't really start playing until like late December and like in January whenever like conference had started.
Yeah.
I kind of like made that decision. Me and my coach made that decision to kind of just sit out and like let it be fully healed. That way you can be ready for conference when we need you the most. So just sitting there for, I guess it was a month,
Re-
but it felt like 5 years just like sitting and watching and wanting to be on the court.
Yeah. No, that's so real. And um thank you first for sharing that, right? Because that's never easy to share. But I think like you made very good 2 points. First about you know the expectations you have for yourself and the expectations everybody has for you, especially when you're a senior. I'm a senior currently, and I've never felt this much pressure ever in my college career. Thought the most pressure I felt
Yeah.
or I will ever feel was freshman year coming in, oh, like, did we recruit the right player, But no, now in my fourth year, after I proved that I belong here, after I proved that I have the ability to play at this level, and everything, I have never felt this much of pressure in my whole tennis career after 19 years of playing. And I think
Hmm.
it's honestly for me at least related to okay, you're a senior, like you have to be good by now, you know the teams, the course,
Yeah.
the different schools. Like, come on, like you have 4 years, you're supposed to be used to this, and I think that's like, not gonna lie to you, like our season is next month gonna be over, like for tennis, and I just realized this, like few days ago. I'm like, oh my god, I've been like putting so much pressure on myself. Like, not even anyone tell me, "Oh my God, you're a senior. Are you gonna do better?" It's just like me, like knowing that
Hmm.
okay, tennis is coming to an end soon, and college is coming to an end soon. Like, I want this to be over the best way possible. That I'm putting so much pressure on myself, and I literally can't perform to my even like close potential sometimes. And it's so real, being a senior is a lot of pressure. Well, because at least for myself, last year, for example, when I was a junior, right, I always thought seniors have the least pressure because, like, what are you losing? Like, you don't have to renew your scholarship at the end of the
Yeah.
year. You have to think about transferring if the coach doesn't want you anymore. You don't have to think about any of that, but it's just the expectation someone like as a senior have within themselves of like, I've been doing this for years. I want to end it in the best way possible, right? And I think as we spend time, right, making freshmen feel comfortable, making sure like they find their spot in the team, that they're comfortable, whatever. I think in college especially we should start looking more into the seniors, and like if it's a conversation, if it's trying to make them feel comfortable, if there's any way to help them, take that pressure off, because you might not see it, but it's definitely there, and I'm sure you can agree on that. Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say I definitely agree with that. Like senior year, you think it's gonna be a breeze, and then that's honestly like you get in your head the most of like, how am I gonna finish off my year? And it affects you. So yeah, I definitely agree.
It does. And I think the second part that I really liked you talking about is the mental side of an injury, right? I always believed that for me to heal physically from that injury is something, but for me to be ready to be back on that court is something like completely different. And that unfortunately, it's not, no one
Yeah.
can really help you through it, but it's gotta come within you, for you to realize, okay, I worked for however a month or 2 or 3 to be ready to step in back and to be ready to work hard again, whatever. But yeah, to realize that and be like, okay, whatever happened, happened. Now I'm gonna like first let myself heal, and then when the moment comes, like I'm gonna be fully ready to come back. And I think it takes a lot with an injury to get the mental side, back and ready to go and ready to push again. And it's very
Mhm.
hard. And again, like, people unfortunately, and sometimes even the environment you have around cannot see that. And I think again we should work more on the mental side of things, especially with injuries, especially again if you're a senior, especially if you never got injured throughout your whole college career. And yeah, I mean, that's awesome for you, how to first realize that, overcome that, and then come back. And you guys won a ring, right? Like last year, or was that the year before? No, that was
It
um
was the last, so I would say what year
was
was that? 2025, 2024, 2025.
when
I want to say
oh,
I don't even know my years. It's been so and I feel like it's been so long, but it hasn't. But like
oh, I literally
um
feel you.
yeah, because I graduated in 2024.
Yeah.
Yeah, so 2024, 2025.
So yeah. all of that and get in a ring, it's not easy, and that's really awesome, like for you to be able to get back to that level. But yeah, I mean, definitely that challenge, right, help you to grow, as you said, and that's really hard as a student athlete to go through that. But what would you say, right, to an athlete right now who's in college, who might be in your same position, or even a freshman, sophomore, junior who's silently, let's say, struggling, right? And even like they might even be struggling not just with injury, but with pressure or identity or whatever it is. What would you say to that athlete?
Um, I feel I feel like I would say, as the purpose of being in college is to find yourself. And I feel like as a regular student, you have a little bit of struggles, but like as a college athlete, I feel like it's 10 times more because you're trying to balance a lot of things. You're trying to balance being good in your sport, being good academically, being like involved on campus. And
Mm,
so I think if you're battling mentally, if you're battling anything, I feel like if you have the right people
mhm,
who not support you, like who support you on the court, but if they support you off the court and they're like there for you and like invite you to things, and people who genuinely bring out the best in you or who want to see you succeed, to just keep those people close, because you never know like what they could show you
mhm,
about yourself, about them, just like with all the experiences that you have, and just basically like be in the moment and cherish the moment,
mhm,
because you'll look back and you'll appreciate those moments. And if like the struggles that you do have, just try to find alternate ways to kind of get you away from not thinking about it so much. Figure out hobbies that you like, try different things. I feel like that's what I did a lot, was just going out and just like buy a coloring book or like something like that, or like go out to lunch by yourself and
yeah,
try like something that you've never tried before, just to kind of like get you out of that. If that all that pressure like weighs on you,
mhm,
you won't flourish
yeah.
basically.
I love the Malia, and I agree so much on, you talking about the people around you, using the support you have, if it's your teammates, if it's your coach, if it's just, friends you have in class, like very important. And I can relate so much to everything you said, because my experience between North Carolina A&T and now Western Illinois, it's two complete different like things that I've lived. Where when I came in A&T, especially my first semester, I do remember I came in, it was season. I was the last player to come in. Everybody was, I thought everybody was expecting to see something from me. And I remember for those 5 months, it was literally tennis, 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 tennis all day. And I don't remember really meeting people, making any connections, anything like that. And then when I came back in fall, I tried, to actually get to just start even just meeting the student athletes that I get to see every day in study hall. I literally spent 6 hours of my week in study hall, and I haven't
Yeah.
made friends. Like, this is not normal.